A few years ago, I did a video. It's one of my earlier videos where I was talking about how I was in this room. It's kind of like how theaters are with the steps that go down and the chairs and everything. It's kind of like a conference room or something. And there was a stage like they do the TED Talks and such, if you can imagine. And I told how there was all of these soldiers and they had their duffel bags with them like they were fixing to be deployed or something. And at the front though, this man and woman came in, and I was more focused on the woman. The woman was dressed in like Indian garb, like over in India, and she looked at me with such a hateful look, and she did that thing with her neck like they do, which I can't do, I guess. But I just remember the whole scene. Get where the sun's not shining in my face. But the lady and the man proceed to have sex on stage. Well, recently I've been delving into all of this stuff about different cultures and Epstein, and I'm starting to see what the Lord was trying to push me towards with that dream. And that's what today's subject will be about. Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. My name is Christy. I hope that I can earn your trust and that you'll stick around and stay with my channel, subscribe and like and share all the information that I share with you all. I mentioned that I think I'm figuring out what that dream meant. Have you ever noticed that Epstein's bathhouse has an interesting kind of Middle Eastern shape to it? His bathhouse looks like the Hammam Yalbuga in Syria. The Hammam Yalbuga was built by the Emir of Aleppo, Saif ad-Din Yalbuga, a Nasiri. It is located next to the entrance of the citadel of Aleppo on the banks of Quig River. Now, this Hammam Yalbuga was a bathhouse, and today there in the culture, there's some people that are old enough to remember, have fond memories of these bathhouses. But in the past, when it was made in 1491, in that era, these bathhouses were for men mostly, and they had these slave people that attended the men in their bath rituals. The term Hammam Oglani refers to the historical role within the Ottoman Empire's military structure, specifically related to the Janissaries. These young boys conscripted into service were trained in baths like the and I'm going to butcher this, Asimiyoglanar Hammami, also known as Hammam Oglani, which served as a training ground. The term Hammam Oglani literally translates to bath boy, highlighting their connection to these bathhouses. And get this next part is going to really get your goat. Janissary training. The Ottoman Janissaries were an elite infantry unit, and their training often began at a young age. The Hammam Oglani was a part of this system where young boys, primarily from Christian communities, were conscripted and trained before entering the Janissary Corps. And there's that word again, Mioglanler Hammami. The bathhouse associated with this training was Asisi Mioglanler Hammami, which translates to bathhouse of the novice boys, the new boys. Janissaries were elite infantry units in the Ottoman army, initially composed of Christian boys captured or levied from Balkan territories and later converted to Islam. They formed a significant part of the Ottoman military and played a crucial role in the empire's expansion and governance, but eventually became a powerful political force that resisted reforms and ultimately contributed to their own demise. Here's a more detailed explanation. Origins and recruitment. The Janissary Corps was established in the late 14th century, possibly under Sultan Murad I. They were initially composed of Christian boys, a system known as Devsirme Levy. These boys were taken from their families, converted to Islam, and trained in military and administrative skills. This system ensured the Janissaries' loyalty to the Sultan, as they had no other family or allegiance beside the Ottoman state. The Janissaries were known for their discipline, loyalty, and effectiveness with early firearms, particularly muskets. Now, I got this other part, and I'll put a link down in the description where I got this. But it's talking more about these bathhouses. And remember, I'm referring to these bathhouses to make you see the picture of how they are similar to what Epstein had going on at his island. What seems like a social taboo in Western countries was all too common in the streets and peg houses of Turkish cities. Far from being an acceptable model for modern day LGBTQ acceptance and activism, this form of homosexuality would also today be called pedophilia. I can't say the words. West versus East. SODOMY is honorable because he who supports boys has more status. Men like them more than their own wives. Many of the Turks and renegades, European Christians converted to Islam, even senior influential men, only want boys for wives. They boast of never having had sex with a woman their whole lives. Rather, they despise females and don't want to set eyes on them. That's a Spanish historian, Diego de Haido, 1600. It is well known that the West was the bringer of heteronormative relationships and expectations to the East during the industrial age of the 19th and 20th centuries. Before the influences of modernization and globalization began, however, Homosexuality was not a socially erroneous prospect in the Ottoman Empire, nor was the sexual appetite for young boys. Now, as far as Epstein, I do still believe that he's working through this sabotage Zevi way of reaching enlightenment. In 1666, a man by the name of Sabbatai Zevi declared himself to be the Messiah. Followers of his heretical cult believe that sin is holy and should be practiced for its own sake. Sabbateans and their successors, the Frankists, have indulged in religious orgies and ritual sacrifice, incest, adultery, and homosexuality for 350 years. Using secret societies such as Masons, this diabolical sect has infiltrated into the highest echelons of political power. They covertly rule as the unelected hidden hand shaping history behind a veil of conspiracy. Sound familiar? Like APAC? Wake up, people. I thought that I would add an addendum to my explanation about the dream I had a few years back. Now, if you remember around the same time, if you've followed my channel this long, you will know that I also did a video about a dream where I attended a Masonic lodge. I had never looked into all of this stuff with Illuminatis and Masons and stuff like that until I started doing these deep dives for my channel. I knew that there were what they called elites, but I didn't know the depth of it until the Lord started waking me up to what was going on. And like I said, I am not a psychic, but I do believe that the Lord takes that time when I'm not cleaning house, chasing dogs, chasing kids, whatever, to put thoughts in my mind. It may be stuff that I've skimmed across and discarded in the past, but anywho, long story short, I think that what's going on with the military soldiers is how that our military is being used by these other entities to do evil throughout the world. Now, people come on my channel and they get all angry with me and tell me how cuckoo loco I am and that I needed to be put into a home and put away, whatever. And they try to tell me I'm fugly and fat, whatever. But the thing is, you have to understand that they are willing to let you die for their causes. And the question you have to ask yourself is, are you willing to die for their causes, or are you willing to die for the Lord Jesus Christ and standing up for what is true and right with the Lord? I love you all. I hope you got something out of this lesson today.